Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakakwadash, Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan Bayasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Icbm, Outwafim and children, Bunyam that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother, I thank y'all back to you another lesson. Yahweh Ratazah is edifying. It's pretty much a news update and the topic of the day. All right. Kiev says Russian Icbm strikes Ukraine. Pretty much they're saying that Russia pretty much kicking off World War III. All right, with a bang. They used the long range Icbm basically. All right, intercontinental ballistic missile. All right, but here in this article, they're trying to downplay and say that it wasn't as such. All right. Nevertheless, it's wars and rumors of wars. All right, this is what the Lord warned us about. All right, at the end, this is what's going to happen. But we know that certain things are not going to be fulfilled until that MOTB is declared, is mandated, pertaining to Revelations chapter 13 and verse 15. One of the scriptures I want to start off with, all right, before getting into this quick article, is 2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 37. It says, by measure have he measured the times, and by number have he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. All right, so the Lord is a perfectionist. All right, when it comes to prophecy, when it comes to how he's going to do things and return back the captivity of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and those of the speckled bird, all right, who may look like the other nations, but you bear the same spirit as such, all right? The Lord is not, he's going to dot his I's and cross his T's. 2 Peter chapter 2 and 9, he know how to deliver the godly, all right, and preserve the wicked, all right, as he's the creator of both. But getting into the article, it says London and Kyiv, Russia on Thursday launch an intercontinental ballistic missile towards southeastern Ukraine, all right, and we know the war in Ukraine, and this is after the Sleepy Joe guy, all right, supposedly basically sanctioned to Ukraine for them to use long-range missiles, all right, which Russia, all right, already was going to retaliate, all right. They're already ready, and it has a war with Russia and Ukraine, all right. So Russia was going to retaliate if they was to do such, all right. So this is, you got talks on the Biden administration versus the Trump administration, them doing this on purpose prior to Trump getting into office, so on and so forth. But whatever the case may be, it's the Lord's will. All right. The Lord controlled the minds and the hearts of these kings. All right. These so-called kings of the earth. All right. Who ultimately is going to be subdued by the ultimate king, Yahweh Shai. All right. He's going to wear many crowns, and that's what he's coming to do. All right, so subdue these kingdoms up under his feet, as they're already written as such. All right, so we're waiting and watching prophecy and seeing the fulfillment of. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and I'll start at verse 1. The king's heart, all right, your heart, your la'av, which is your mind. All right, not the fleshly thing that pumps blood in your chest, your bosom. All right, but your true heart is your la'av, meaning your mind. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Every man, Salakia, every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts, right? So, they might have their own mindset to escalate, to de-escalate war, or whatever the case may be, but the Lord is going to put in their hearts to fulfill his will. All right. Proverbs 20 and 24. All right. Man's goings is of the Lord. How could a man understand his own way? All right. Nobody has free will. All right. Not the heathen. not the children. Nobody has free will here, man. You are moved through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, whether you in the knowing of so of not or not. All right, whether it's for righteousness or whether it's not. All right, for wickedness. All right, we're all coming to that manifestation of who is who. The longer and closer we get to the end. All right. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 15. Again, because these are the things that this got to be mandated. All right. Ultimately for salvation to come. All right. This system to go down, the economic system to completely crash. All right. And for them to ultimately try to usher in their MOTB. All right. Which is simultaneously being talks about that too. All right, so that's why war is raging more and more, all right, day for day, because they're getting ready to instill their draconian measures, their NWO, their New World Order, their Fourth Industrial Revolution, their global reset. This Revelations chapter 13 and verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right? He has power to give life unto this system that he's trying to set up, all right? Things have to come to pass, like, the MOTB, the RFID CHIP, and, Revelation 6, the black horses in play, all right, the plagues that the Lord's bringing. All this is pressure that's going to bust pipes, all right. That's going to amount to the Lord's test, the test of all flesh, all right, to see who and try who is his. So it's Revelations 13 and 15 from the top. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? All right, that's what's ultimately going to be coming, all right? That draconian measure, that mandate of how you're not going to be a part of this system unless you have his device. And everything is going digital. Everything is, headed towards the RFID CHIP, all right, which is the MOTB. All right. Anybody telling or teaching anything else, they're a false prophet. All right. They're not speaking truth. Of course, they don't understand prophecy, and you have to understand prophecy to know what's at hand right now. Right. Which is salvation. All right. Destruction. All right. Judgment. It's verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right. So that's everybody. That's touching all bases, all flesh, rich and poor, free and bond. Revelations 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right. So when he set up the system, nobody's going to be able to partake in it unless, you got that stamp. All right. That quai, that incision, that prick. That charagma, all right? But back to the article, it says, Russia on Thursday launched an intercontinental ballistic missile towards southeastern Ukraine, officials in Kyiv said. But two U.S. officials told ABC News it was instead an intermediate range ballistic missile, or IRBM, right? So two people versus Ukraine's military was 95% sure the strike was with an Icbm. A Ukrainian official told ABC News, but added that they were still examining the missile parts on the ground and had not yet reached a final conclusion. To date, it was a new Russian missile. All the parameters, speed, altitude, matched those of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a statement on social media, which I believe they say he was like an actor or something like that. Like he's like a set up, as he was set up over there in Ukraine, but he's like the Shine of Ukraine, like how Shine is political in Belize or something like that. But he was like an actor or something. Vladimir Zelensky. All right, but he's a puppet. All right. So he's ultimately trying to it's all the spirit of the Lord that's going to bring America into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, it's going to bring them down to that war. That's why you have two U.S. officials they don't want it really. All right, they know what this is going to amount to. It's going to amount to World War III. All right, Russia. All right, the Kremlin. All right, Ezekiel 38. Ultimately, coming to pass. This Moscow did not immediately confirm the launch, with Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov declining to comment, saying questions about it should instead be directed to the Russian Defense Ministry. The Ukrainian Air Force announced Thursday morning it had tracked the launch of the Icbm along with 6 additional missiles, all of which were targeted the Dnipro region. The Icbm appeared to have been launched from the Astran region in Russia's southwest, Ukrainian military officials said. All of the missiles were launched in about 2 hours, beginning at about 5 a.m. local time. All were targeted at businesses and critical infrastructure, but only the missiles that Ukraine identified as an Icbm struck the city. Ukraine said the 6 other missiles were shot down. There were no reports of casualties or significant damage, official says. So it's saying is only about 600 miles the distance, which is that's a short distance. It's a shorter distance than what an Icbm would even travel. But the talks on war, all right, a wake up call, all right. They might have shot off Icbm, all right. But again, these things are set up by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, ultimately just being a point. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? So these are the wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet, all right? But we're at the end, all right, but it's things you got to, take into account. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 states, measure the times diligently in itself. So you have to understand prophecy, all right, the alignment of prophecy, how the Lord's going to do his thing, all right, and perform his will, his righteous indignation upon America, Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, all right, as well as other nations throughout the 4 corners of the earth, all right, for what they've done to the apple of his eye for his people, to his people, all right, because it's all about the elect. At the end of the day, it's him returning back the captivity of his people, but in these times, it's the elect, all right, the 144 men, all right, the 12,000 men from each tribe, and the 1/3 men, women, and children. All right, that small multitude that's going to be saved. All right, that's name going to be written in the book of life. That's going to be saved from the said perils. All right, because this devil raging, man. If he don't destroy this devil and his system and his kingdom, no flesh should be saved, as the scriptures say. All right, it is Matthew 24 and verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, right? That's what we're witnessing and we're hearing about, and kingdoms against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, man, right? And those things been going on through the councils, the course of the years, right? Even when it comes to, the spiritual weather, the sun, moon, and the stars, blood moons, things of that nature, all right? All these things are taking its course because we're at the end. All right. The Lord is getting ready to send judgment. All right. The earth is having its growing pains. All right. Contractions. All right. Before the baby is birthed. All right. It breaks through the womb. It's back in Matthew 24 and 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. So we got to measure the time diligently. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, in which I have told thee before. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, man. And that's what, we just was speaking on. All right. The effects and signs. All right. The sun, moon, and the stars, just the spiritual weather, the spiritual climate. All right. And just the prophecies. All right. What's going on throughout the four corners of the earth, politically, as far as these kings that delegate. All right. When it comes to the resources that they got from off the nation of Israel, the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, that's coming to an end. It's the book of Joel. Chapter 3. Let's start wrapping it up. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? All those who delegate, who think they're kings and rulers. You're kings and rulers from off of the blood, the iniquity of the nation of Israel, for them going into slavery, all right? For them being the tail and not the head, all right? Going through the curses. But that time is up, all right? The Lord is getting ready to redeem his people, all right? A fraction of his people, to redeem his people as a whole. All right, so the Lord is saying here in Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? All right, let them come up. The Lord go plead with them. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, right? Everything that you have for agriculture and for to build up your people economically, put that towards military might. The end of all wars. All right. Says, beat your plowshares in this verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, right? Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, right? Yahweh Shaphat, all right, the valley of Kidron, all right, where this is kicking off, it's going to kick off, so as the scripture says, man, what nation has not had a hand in Israel's captivity? All right, so the Lord is getting ready to plead with all nations, even his nation, all right, as he sift his house first. That's why we're going through Jacob's trouble. We're in Jacob's trouble. All right. And it's going to get worse. All right. You got Jacob's trouble, MOTB getting pushed, World War III, famine, hyperinflation, all that stuff, and that's just, equates for Jacob's trouble, hyperinflation, just all the judgments, the scourges that's sent for amendment. All right. But again, 2/3 of our people are not going to return back and still not go listen. They're going to be given a portion of the unbelievers, man. They're going to be given the judgment. And this is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 25, just going back into the signs and the spiritual weather. And it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations, right? With perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, right? This is like times like never before. This is a new season that mankind has not experienced, especially here in the West. All right, the spoiled people with the westernized mindset who never had war on their soil. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Verse 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory, right? The Lord go enter into the house of the thief. Then you go see that big chariot, and it's going to be Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. They going to be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. It's verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So in this verse 29, he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. And I did a breakdown on that like a week or two ago. Understand the parable of the fig tree. How much is pretty much the judgment is here. All right. It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and Yaharat is out of this lesson was edifying. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and I'll start at verse 11. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten of powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. And the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. Right. Verse 13, for strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth, man. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot off a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall not be sent upon earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, man. That's Ezra's infamous quote. All right, a famous quote. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, man. Knowing that those will go be troubling times like never spoken of, never seen before. All right, and you still got people just caught up into the confusion here in America. All right. But the scriptures speak on how that wine is strong. It's strong wine. This 151 proof wine. All right. The philosophy and the way of America. All right. So it has 2/3 of our people completely living up under a rock and don't know what's coming to this place, which is utter judgment, World War III. All right, the Lord's test being MOTB, being mandated, the RFID hip, the mark of the B, right? Where you're going to choose your spiritual allegiance, man. Those who really love the philosophy of this devil, all right, they're going to ultimately choose death. All right, death will go be chosen rather than life, the scriptures say. All right, they're going to love their master and they're going to ultimately get branded, right? This is back in 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Right. The black horse. And then it's going to come Hey, the Lord's go come in his white horse, right? He will enter into the house of the thief, right? These things are gonna be played out. Revelation 6, all right, the 7 plagues, dealing with the Lord's plagues, the 7 angels, dealing with the Lord's plagues, right? Judgments. This is verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right, for correction. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, right? They're gonna that spiritual alcoholism, man. They're gonna be full of the philosophy, the wine of Esau, Edom, and these other nations, these other heathen nations, man. All right. And they're gonna be asleep to what's being presented to them, which is salvation. All right. But we know, hey, this is exciting times to see these people shoot off an Icbm. All right. It gotta be an end. All right. This place ran its course already. This place ran its course. Shalom, Habatah, and DTA. Until the next one.